Find out how a cake was inspired by the moon.
A husband and wife team does nothing on the fly.
And when is a chicken not a chicken? When it's a buffalo wing.
But first, it looks like a sweet, crispy snowflake. But these cookies are one of the oldest varieties in the world. Originating in Italy way back in the 8th century, pizzelles are closely associated with family and friends.
So when C's Nucci of New Steph Foods decided to bring these sweet treats to a North American audience, he knew just who to turn to: his mom.
On a Saturday morning, and she'd been up all morning making pizzelle cookies 2 at a time. And I basically ate her morning production in half an hour.
There's nothing like devouring mom's baking. But C's mother, Nonna Nucci, wasn't running the fastest operation.
Well, he's kept her hallowed recipe intact, but C's has taken the production of pizzelles into the future.
We wound up here today in a 50,000 square foot factory producing 1.3 million cookies a day.
The process begins in one of 4 140-liter mixers, where sugar, eggs, water, oil, and vanilla flavoring are mixed together.
And New Steph's pantry is clearly bigger than mom's, because 100,000 eggs and 13,000 pounds of sugar are used every week. Next comes the flour. New Steph Foods goes through 1.2 million pounds a year.
Once the batter is properly mixed, it heads to the baking room. The mixture is sifted to remove any unwanted clumps. And now, a meeting between old school tradition and new school innovation.
That's right. The batter is placed into a depositor and pumped into a cast iron plate. Cast iron plates were traditionally used in Italian kitchens to make pizzelle cookies by hand, one at a time. But these irons are automated, and 32 plates pass through the ovens every minute.
Centuries ago, pizzelles were often formed in the shape of family crests. But these irons are custom-made and engraved with an ancient Italian design, handpicked by C's Nucci himself.
The irons move like the tracks of a tank, rumbling steadily through the cookie ovens on a continuous loop.
And they move quickly. With every passing minute, 128 cookies move through the 165-degree oven. The plates automatically open, and a vacuum system gently removes the fragile cookies.
Now empty, the irons circle back to report for duty once again. The finished cookies are placed onto a conveyor and begin their pilgrimage to the packaging area. And it's a long line. New Steph manufactured 144 million pizzelles just last year. That's enough to stretch from Toronto to Vancouver 3 times over.
But hang on, the pizzelles just came out of a scalding cast iron plate. So first, they need to travel through a cooling tunnel at minus 18 degrees Celsius. Danuta, a quality control expert, keeps a watchful eye on the cooling cookies.
I used to be thin when I started the business, and I've eaten too many of them. It's only 23 calories per cookie, but they are addictive.
Any broken or chipped pizzelles are still tasty, so they're kept aside for local food banks. But cookies that make contact with the ground are reserved for a very surprising customer.
Farmers, they come and pick them up and mix them with their feed for their animals, so they're not going to waste.
The pizzelles not headed to the farm are ready to be packaged. Automated digital stackers create precise stacks of 10. The word pizzelle roughly translates to small, flat, and round, and you can see why.
Stacks move through a flow wrapper and are sealed with a special film. There are no preservatives in these all-natural beauties, but the film helps keep them fresh for up to 6 months.
And since they're made to order, you'll find them on shelves within 3 days of being baked.
Today we're going to package over 1.3 million cookies.
Clamshell containers are filled with stacks of cookies. And an electric eye laser gives them a best before coat.
Each finished container is packed into a case. And 60 cases are placed onto a shipping pallet. With 12 containers per case, that adds up to almost 29,000 cookies per pallet.
The finished pizzelles are ready to be shipped to major retailers. A successful Italian transplant in North America.
But these pizzelles have even managed to find their way home.
We are proud to say that we ship them back to the country of origin in Italy, where they seem to like ours better than the ones that they make locally.
Now that's a ringing endorsement. Imagine you're sunbathing by the water and the heat is making you thirsty. This would be one time when a black fly is welcome.
The Black Fly Beverage Company was founded in 2005 by Rob Kelly and his wife, Kathy Siskin Kelly.
Start talking about black flies, you're going to get the one-upper stories. You're going to say, well, you know, I spent a summer in Sudbury, or, I'm from Manitoba. And as a metaphor, black flies are small but mighty, and as a small company entering a landscape of large globals, we hope to come in under the radar and take a little bite out of the market.
They make vodka mixed drinks, tequila mixed drinks, and a Long Island iced tea.
They're brightly colored, refreshing, and not just for summer. But don't call them coolers.
The category is called RTD, or ready to drink, and really the whole idea is that it's very convenience-based. You don't have to buy a variety of mixes, you don't need a blender to take to a party.
So, let's find out how these RTDs are made.
The base mix, starting with water, needs to be heated up in a hot mixing tank before it can cool you down.
The water that we're using here in our process is charcoal filtered water to make it as clean as we possibly can.
Charcoal is made of carbon and is able to absorb odorous gases hiding in liquids to improve the quality and taste of the water.
The filtered water is then lightly sweetened with real granular cane sugar. Tell your beer-loving buddies that Black Fly's mixed drinks are 60% less sweet than the average cooler. They're actually closer to beer in sweetness.
Black Fly, the vodka cranberry, is a 4. It has 4 grams of sugar per 100 mLs. That's almost off the charts on the low end for these types of drinks.
Typical coolers have 9 to 16 grams of sugar per 100 milliliters.
220-liter barrels hold pure fruit juice concentrates. After pure cranberry and blueberry juice are added, they turn the mixture ruby red. And wild blueberries are a fitting choice for this company.
Another fun fact is that wild blueberries are actually pollinated by black fly insects.
This truck delivers 22,000 liters of vodka at one time. While the fruit mix blends in one tank, another is filling up with Canadian vodka.
It's the real deal. Yeah, it's a happy day when that truck rolls in.
They drain the vodka into 1,000-liter totes.
That's enough for 22,542 shots.
Taste the vodka, you taste the real juices. It's balanced, it's refreshing, and it has a wonderful finish.
So it tastes good, but it needs a little something to keep it looking fresh. Natural juices lose their color over time. An ingredient is added that traveled 7,000 kilometers to get here.
It's an extract of elderberry skins that is a very rich, dark, bluey purple, in essence a natural dye.
That's because elderberries contain anthocyanins. They're natural pigments that give things a purple hue, like pansies, red wine, and plums. After the alcohol is added, the batch mixes for 1 hour while it cools to 5 degrees Celsius. To fill it into bottles, it has to be even cooler, between 0 and 2 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, those bubbles would foam up.
So while the mix cools, bottles are put in place at the filling station. The bottles are made from a special plastic. Although it's lightweight, it's far more durable and recyclable than other plastics. Each bottle is given a rinse before they're filled.
35 bottles are filled every minute, which allows for quality assurance as each bottle is inspected for the correct fill level. If you're quenched and there's some left in the bottle, the lid can be screwed back and you can save it for later.
Black-Fly bottlenecks are 35 millimeters wide and big enough to put ice cubes right in the bottle. These guys think of everything. In total, 25,000 bottles are capped each day. After they've been capped, they huddle together at the gathering table.
A carton is formed around 4 finished bottles, and 6 4-packs go into each box. 60 boxes get stacked on the pallet.
Between each layer, they spread on a thin layer of biodegradable adhesive to keep cases from shifting during shipping. Now, in their 7th year, the business is swelling and looking to expand past the border and into the States.
Now this is a black fly you'd be happy to swallow.
Buffalo wings. They're hot, spicy, and juicy, and the Super Bowl wouldn't be the same without them.
But of course, buffalo can't fly. The wings come from chickens and get their nickname from the city they were invented in. Food Roll Sales operate in Niagara Falls, a close neighbor of Buffalo, and have been making batches of buffalo wings since 1985.
A lot of people don't know that we were one of the original people to create the chicken wing craze here, and we just mass produced them so that the major populace could enjoy them, and it's really caught on like wildfire.
The wings arrive at the factory pre-cut and ready to go, and all they need to do is take them out of their trays.
We use grade A chicken, which is the best chicken you can buy.
The first step is to marinate and massage the wings in a tumbler. Steve here is in charge of the tumbler, and he keeps it running all day.
1,000 kilograms of chicken is loaded in, along with 600 pounds of water. The door is closed and air is sucked out to create a vacuum. The vacuum will help the meat to expand and relax.
Meanwhile, a pre-made marinade has been prepared by mixing a secret blend of spices with very cold water. The marinade, which flavors the chicken, gets sucked into the tumbler.
Once it's all in, Steve turns the machine on. As it spins, the wings tumble and tenderize. The timer beeps after 3.5 hours, but there's no need to tip the tumbler. Rims inside the machine act as an auger or drill. The tumbler is put in reverse and the chicken is forced out the way it came.
The wings are loaded onto carts. When it comes to chicken, food safety is key. Steve uses a special thermometer to monitor their temperature. The chicken needs to stay below 4 degrees Celsius to continue on.
Next, the wings take a bath in near boiling water during a process called blanching. Blanching cooks the wings before they're fried, which helps them keep their moisture. That way, when they're reheated at home, they won't turn out dry.
The fat starts to leave the meat as soon as it hits the water. The chicken runs through the scalding water on a conveyor for about 10 minutes.
The meat has begun to cook, and the team keeps a watchful eye on temperature levels. The wings have been tumbled and blanched, but they aren't buffalo wings without a crispy coating. It's time for the wings to fry.
The chicken is flash fried in canola oil. In just 2 minutes, the chicken is a crispy golden brown. The wings are fully cooked, but they're lacking the spicy coating that makes them such a favorite.
What makes the buffalo wings so special and so popular is that the sauce is very spicy. It's got a bit of heat to it, and it's a bit vinegary. It's the flavor that people have come to love and expect from buffalo. It's like a traditional buffalo sauce.
The wings get drenched all over with the red-hot liquid. The waterfall of sauce keeps circulating so none goes to waste.
The wings are hyper hot, but they need to travel to stores across Canada, so it's time to get chillingly cold. But this isn't just any cooler, it's a liquid nitrogen blast freezer. The freezer reaches temperatures as low as minus 195 degrees Celsius and shoots jets of nitrogen at the chicken.
These wings will be frozen solid in 12 minutes.
This is a cryogenic way of freezing the product. You'll hear the term IQF, and that's what it means, individually quick frozen pieces of chicken. And it's the best way of preserving the quality of the wing, the freshness, and the flavors.
The wings come out of the freezer rock solid, so like clumps of ice, they need to be separated.
We scoop it into bags or boxes, and then it's weighed. These are 5 kg, and we can do anywhere from 50, 60 an hour.
Now they're boxed, ready to kick off in deli counters all over the country.
From humble beginnings in Buffalo, New York, to a staple of sporting events all over the continent, these little wings are ready to touch down onto your plate. To invent a handmade cake from scratch, it helps to have some inspiration. And you never know where and when inspiration will strike.
In 1986, brothers Michael and Marty, along with their parents Lena and Harvey, opened Rocca Creative Cakes in Woodbridge, Ontario. The bakery was named after their Italian grandmother, who started baking in Naples.
The desserts that we're making here in Rocca is a kind of a hybrid between, classic Italian and North American style desserts.
Now they operate out of a 40,000 square foot facility in Richmond Hill, Ontario.
But to create a cake, Chef Marty was open for inspiration from outside the family.
About 2 o'clock in the morning, I was driving along, and the moon was kind of shining through the clouds. And I looked up. I just thought of something with caramel and pecans and light and crunchy and fluffy. And I thought, how am I going to put it together?
For Chef Marty, the moon isn't made of cheese. It's clearly made of cake. After 2 weeks of intense testing, he perfected the super caramel crunch cake.
Now, an average of 3,500 of the handmade lunar-inspired creations are purchased every day.
With customer orders piling up, it's crunch time. The meringue is made first because it takes the longest to prepare.
The baker is now blending by hand 10s and 20, 30, hundreds of bowls. But you know what? You gotta keep to what works, and making small batches of meringue is a better way of doing it.
The egg whites are whipped until they keep stiff peaks. A little sugar is added, and when they shine, they're ready for folding.
Folding is a way of gently incorporating ingredients. That way the meringue stays full of air and doesn't deflate when the pecans are added.
We buy grade A pecans from California. We crush them ourselves to retain all the oils and everything inside the meringue.
The mixture is squeezed out through a piping bag. Then, the meringues are baked at 290 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. Stack all the meringues made in a year on top of each other, and it would reach 7 stories tall.
The second layer, caramel, begins with lots of butter and sugar, a big splash of cream, and then the secret ingredient that makes it super.
Taste is excellent. It's nice and sweet.
They happily use 150,000 liters of caramel every year.
And finally, the third layer, whipped cream. In 1 year, La Rocca used enough whipped cream on their super caramel crunch cakes to fill up 10 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
And that would make for a wonderful swim.
Computers monitor the mixing of 35% cream, so it comes out just right.
We beat the eggs, we whip the cream. Might sound cruel, but it's really tasty.
With the layers prepared, it's time to assemble. A room of 150 skilled bakers decorate all the La Rocca cakes by hand. Every minute, 12 cakes pass under each baker. It takes 14 bakers to assemble and decorate just one cake.
2 at a time, meringues travel down the conveyor, and Sylvia spreads a layer of thick, rich caramel. Then the funnel drops a dollop of whipped cream before these decadent layers become one tall cake.
But it's not quite done yet. Even more caramel is piped on.
The cakes are fragile, so they get a protective dome before they're packaged into boxes and sent to stores across North America.
A crunchy dessert inspired from out of this world, the La Rocca Super Caramel Crunch Cake packs a taste you're sure to be over the moon for.
For more information about the show, please visit foodnetwork.ca.